Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Well, one thing is for sure, you guys, I don't have to worry about going to work today. They told us not to come back until Monday. Yo, this is your home girl. Arabia. 914, Wichita County, New York. We're still stuck down here in Charleston, South Carolina. We're going live right now. Lonnie just went live. Shout out to her. Lonnie just went live. Shout out to her. She's out driving early this morning. Shout out to her. Yeah. So yesterday, right, you guys, I went to the office. We went to the destination. We got dispatched at 9:30 to go to a job. We went on a job where the only thing we had to do was put installation. Only thing we had to do was install installation. So we did that from the time we arrived until I would say maybe until 2:00. Cause they cut us early. We thought we was doing a good job because the man, one of the supervisors, he came around and he said everybody was doing a good job. The guy we was working with said we was doing a good job. And then all of a sudden, the other supervisors came up the stairs and they said we was doing a good job. And they got the ticket. They signed the ticket. Them bastards only gave us 4 hours. I'm going to have to get in touch. Excuse me, y'all. I'm going to have to get in touch with the dispatcher because the job we went on yesterday, they paid us regular pay, and that is a skilled ticket. Anytime you're doing anything that is not dealing with cleaning or anything like that, any kind of installation, anything like that, that's a skill ticket. Even if they don't give us the skill, they should have at least put it on the ticket. And that's why we didn't get paid what we should have got paid. Even though we only had 4 hours, we didn't get paid like the way we should have got paid yesterday. She wasn't there in the office when we got off. So I'm going to have to call her this morning. And I'm going to have to do it when she's finished with her dispatch. But yeah, man, I can't. No. I'm going to tell you how much we got. We was only there for 4 hours. We only made $41. $41. Because she didn't write on the ticket that it was a skill ticket. She didn't write on the ticket that it was a skill. Because anytime you're installing anything, I don't give a fuck if it's installation. I don't give a fuck if it's sheetrock. I don't give a fuck if it's conduit and wiring. I don't give a fuck if it's plumbing, anything dealing with plumbing. Anytime you install anything, it is considered a skilled ticket. I'm going to talk to her this morning. Not right now because she's not even in the office right now. And I know they're going to be open today, but they're only going to take the people with the repeat tickets. So we was told not to come today. We was told to come on Monday. And I don't know if that is because they just want to deal with the people with the repeats. I don't know if it's because we got put off the job. But it was 4 of us. It was me and 3 other dudes. And we got put off the fucking job. So I'm not really happy about that. We only made 4 hours, $41. A quick 41. Go figure. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to YouTube streets. This house has been unusually hot for the last couple of days. I'm looking for my cigarettes. Yeah. Because I like to smoke early in the morning. I don't give a fuck what going on the YouTubes or in real life right now. And like I told you guys, they're supposed to be removing this water heater and replacing it with a new water heater, but I don't see them doing that no time soon. It took them over a month to fix a fucking faucet, and I already know they're not going to follow what that young lady said in her report about this apartment. She said it's supposed to be corked. It's supposed to cork around my windows and stuff anywhere where there's a draft. They're supposed to take care of this air conditioner stuff, even though they're not on. They're supposed to maintain that. They don't do shit around here. It's really frustrating when you're dealing with a slumlord. When I was living in New York, now you would think places like New York and New Jersey and places like up north, they got slumlords. They do, but I never ran into a slumlord yet when I was living in New York. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Oh, man, you guys. I know it's early. I know it's mad early. I know people are preparing themselves for tomorrow. And I was thinking I was going to have to go to the store and buy a few items. I thought about that shit. I said, you know what? I'm gonna take myself to the pantry. And you guys know which one I'm talking about because we walk up there all the time when I'm live. We walk up there all the time when I'm live to go to the pantry, but y'all never actually see me go in. Y'all just see me walking there. And then sometime I'll stop over there by the bus stop. And then I'll walk back across the street and I'll end the video. And by the time I do go live again, it's probably the next day or later on that day, or maybe I just did some short videos. Shout out to my short videos. Because what I'm going to start doing, instead of using the intro I'm using right now, I'm going to use that intro where it's backwards. That's what I'm going to start using. I'm going to start using the intro where I'm talking backwards, where the intro is being done backwards. So when you hear me say my own name, be like, I was saying, in that particular intro, it's going to be done twice. But you won't even know that I'm saying my name. You won't even know what I'm saying, really. Unless you know my name, unless you know the words I speak when I speak in Swahili or do the Swahili phrases. You know what I mean? So last night, before I went to bed, I did a short video and I put up the words good night in Swahili. So people know what I'm saying. So there's a greeting for morning, and there's a greeting for the afternoon. There's a greeting for at nighttime. I need to start practicing my days of the week. Yeah, the months, the weather, all that, because lately I really haven't been studying like the way I should. I haven't been practicing like the way I should. Yesterday I went on the job, right? So the guy we was working with, he only speaks Spanish. He don't really speak English that much. So he was talking, I was getting everything he was saying. So when he came in to check on me the first time, right? He saw that He saw that I had did the area I was supposed to I had done, and then I did another area that I didn't necessarily have to do. He was like, "Oh, mommy, you didn't have to do that area unnecessary." I said, "Oh, lo siento, no es cumpleaños mío." Yo, he was like, "Yo," we started speaking in Spanish. He was like, "Oh, said she understand." Right after, yo, I'm gonna tell you something about these people. When they be speaking Spanish and you speak Spanish back to them, all of a sudden they can speak very good English. Their English is excellent. But before they come over here to this country, they have to know English. That's in all the countries, as far as I know. If the people I'm not saying the man is from Dominican Republic. I think the man is from South America, the one I was talking to yesterday. Okay, so their Spanish is different from those that might come from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So there's, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Cuba. Their Spanish is similar, not all the way similar. Puerto Rican Spanish is different from all of them. Puerto Rican Spanish is different. Then you got the Dominicans. Then you got your people from Costa Rica. Then you got your people from Cuba. So the Spanish is going to be different for each one, but you can actually understand. I understand more when anyone is talking. It's just like when they be talking real fast, I be like, oh, okay. So you got to ask them to slow it down, a little bit. Ask them to slow it down a little bit. Even if they don't slow it down, you just use your other phrases. You know what I mean? Like if you got a question, ask the question. Basically, like if you want, let's say someone is smoking a cigarette and you don't have any, you know exactly what to say. If you know a little bit of Spanish. Same thing with Swahili. And the way you learn a language is how you learned your first language. A lot of people think it's kind of silly to actually learn the words and these, like how I'm sitting in my bedroom right now. So there's a word for bed, there's a word for table, there's a word for fan, there's a word for how many windows is in here, there's a word for air condition. So what you would do, you would write it down and you would tape it on those items. You would tape it on those items. So every time you come across that item, you're reading what that item name is in Spanish or Swahili. So you getting familiar with the language. And these different languages, Swahili or Spanish, it's good to know the days of the week, the months of the year, how to say certain holidays, how to ask directions, just everyday things like your clothing. A lot of people take that for granted. Like, okay, that's a pair of pants, that's a shirt, but how would you say it in Spanish? Like pants in Spanish is pantalones, los pantalones. Shirt in Spanish, well, pants is los pantalones. Shirt is la camisa. La camisa. Like if I'm saying glasses, I would say lentes. If I'm saying gloves, it would be guantes, los guantes. If I'm saying umbrella, I would say paraguas. If I'm saying something about food, I would say las comidas. Um, it's just like different things that you would say. And same thing goes for Swahili. You will have to learn how to say pants, how to say shirts, socks, all that in different language. And you would learn it like the way you learn English. Simple. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Good morning. My eyes are a little blurry, so I really can't read the name real clear. Hold on. Well, good morning. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. I'm not going to be up here much longer. I'm just up here just shooting the shit until, it is what it is. Right now, I'm home. So today, walking team, my walking chat, those that are here, thank you for being here. Those that are not here, I hope you will catch the replay. I hope you will catch the replay because we're not going to work today. We were told not to go to work today. We were told to come back on Monday, so to speak. He's told us to come back on Monday. So today, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to take you guys with me if you feel like going, we're going to one of the pantries. I'm going to take y'all in that direction. I'm going to pick a bag of food from this place, and then I'm going to walk back. See, this will save me money, so I won't have to buy nothing. I won't have to buy nothing for tomorrow and for the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying? Because when I go to the pantry, they usually give me enough where I don't have to go to a store and purchase other items unless I feel like I want to purchase them. You know what I mean? Just like if I go, right, and they give me the bag of food and I take it home and I go into the bag, let's say that they don't have any meats, any canned meats in there. So what I'll do, I'll go to the store, buy me a bag of chicken and cook that. So I'm gonna cook me a bag of chicken, some rice and some vegetables and call it a day because it's just me for Thanksgiving this year. I'm not around my family like that. You know what I mean? Most of my people, we all scattered all over the place. We scattered everywhere. We're in New York. We're in New Jersey. We're in Connecticut. We're in Rhode Island. We're in Massachusetts. We're in different parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. You know what I mean? Some of us are just scattered everywhere. We're everywhere. We're not in all one place. And this will be my first year without Birdman for the holidays. So tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and when Christmas comes, because he was a Christmas baby, so this will be my first year without him. This will be my first year without him. You know what I mean? Actually, no phone call, no seeing him, no hearing his voice, nothing like that. So there's no Birdman this year. It's just me. It's just me. You know what I mean? And it's besides him that passed away, because there's other relatives that's in my family that are no longer here. I won't be able to pick up the phone and call them. I won't be able to do none of that. You know what I mean? And that's a fact of life. And life keeps lifing. And I have to move on. You know what I mean? Regardless of who dies and who remains, life goes on. Life goes on. Life keeps life, and it doesn't stop because people die. It doesn't stop because people get sick. It doesn't stop after people give birth. and have a new baby. Life doesn't stop. It keeps lifing. Life keeps lifing. Time moves on. Everything continues on the same. Even though your feelings are not the same anymore, but time marches on. And I have to march on with it. I can't get stuck in what happened last year or the year before or the year before. That time is over. It's past. Move on. March on. Walk on. What did Sybil say? Walk on by? That's what she said in one of her songs. She said, if you see me cry, walk on by. Don't say a word, just walk on by. And that's what you got to do for life. Period. Now, there was a lady, she was one of the survivors of the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. They call her Mother Fletcher. She was 111 years old when she passed. She was one of the survivors of that terrible time in history. And for those of you that don't know what that is, when I say Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was Black Wall Street. She was living in a place called Greenwood. It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there was a massacre. That was where Black Wall Street was located. One of the communities where Black people was very successful. They were doing their own thing. They had their own banks, their own schools, their own everything. They were doing very well. And some white people became concerned and they became jealous. Not only did some white men went into that area on foot in cars to destroy that community, they dropped bombs. The United States of America flew airplanes in that area and bombed Black Wall Street. And while this woman was living, we call her Mother Fletcher. While she was still living, she and whoever was the rest of the survivors, it was one of her siblings as well, right along with her, they had sued. They had sued the city. They didn't get anything. They lost the case. She went in front of Congress and said something to them about reparations. And as I was reading about this woman, they mentioned the fact that after what happened to her when she was young, because when that massacre happened, she was 7 years old. When the woman passed away, she was 111. And she still slept sitting up in a chair with the lights on in her house. When they asked her about her account of what she remembered about that terrible day, that terrible moment in history, she said she remembered Black businesses being burned. She said she remembered running past some of her neighbors and they were on the ground. They were dead, shot dead, killed. For what? For what? What sense did that make for them to have to destroy that town? And that's not the only town that these crackers, these demons destroyed. Places. And I'm telling you, you guys, They are waiting for all these people who've ever lived through Jim Crow or any part of that history of this country. The government is so evil. They're waiting for all of them to pass away, to die, so they can write in history that it never happened. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That's how evil and wicked the government really is. And when you speak up and you say, hey, this happened or that happened, they will try to tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. You don't deserve no reparations. Because I don't know too many black people with black families that have generational wealth. I don't know of any. Let's say that for the people in the back. I don't know any black people with generational wealth. I don't know them. They're not in my circle. Okay. Don't matter how the way I talk or what kind of languages I learn, that doesn't take away the fact that I'm not a part of the bourgeois. I'm not part of the elites. I'm not part of none of those groups. So there's no generational wealth. And those that do have it, they have it by some kind of means where they had to use other people, had to destroy other people. Shout out to the chat. I don't know if anyone ever read the book that Mr. Richard did a few years ago. But before he did the book, and who I'm talking about is the father of the tennis champions, Venus and Serena Williams. Their father was from the Deep South. I believe he was from the South. The man did an interview with the Nation of Islam newspaper a few years ago in their final call. And he mentioned the fact that when he was 9 years old, he heard some white men talking about getting rid of some influential black man that lived in their town because he was talking too much. He was making too much trouble, the black man. And the only way he found out what these evil white men were going to do is that he dressed up as a Ku Klux Klan member. He attended one of their meetings. He left. He got on his bicycle. He went to the man's house. He knocked on the man's door. He told the man, you got to get out of town right now. The man didn't even wait. When he got back to his house, I don't know how his parents found out that he did what he did, but they said, oh, hell, we got to get you out of here. Them crackers are coming. And they put him on some kind of transportation. I don't know if it was a bus. I don't know if it was a train. I don't know. But he left from the South. He went on. I believe he went on to California. That's how he met the mother of Serena and Venus Williams. He told that story to a news reporter someone that was working for the Nation of Islam, because the Nation of Islam still had one of their papers, their newspapers that they do publish, called The Final Call. And they do come around and sell their newspapers. These men still are in the community, the Fruit of Islam. They come out, they sell the newspapers. If you can't afford to buy the newspaper and they see how much you like the newspaper and how much you're into what they're talking about, they'll give you one for free. Shout out to the chat. And they don't necessarily say, well, you have to join the nation. No, you don't necessarily have to join. A lot of people think if they read The Final Call or if they read anything Elijah Muhammad wrote, that they would have to join the Nation of Islam. You don't have to join. It's just that when you read one of their publications, one of their books, now you can't pretend that you didn't read it. Now you can't pretend you didn't hear the warnings of Elijah Muhammad. There's this one lady, she does her videos about Black history every day. She posts every day. And there was a mention in a video that she did where she said that there was a lot of Black people that did not want integration. And they were right for the reasons why they didn't want it. Shout out to the chat. I don't think when Black people in this country, our ancestors fought for civil rights, I don't think they really wanted to integrate. I think they just wanted the resources like their white counterparts were getting. The services, the respect. That's what they wanted. They wanted their just dues. They felt like if I have a school and you have a school, I deserve to have the same type of books your children have. Shout out to the chat. Education was a big concern for our people, for our community. I don't know what it is now, but when I was growing up, certain children were encouraged to start looking for colleges, to start looking for some type of higher education. Some of us was encouraged to go into the military. Some of us was not encouraged. You know, me personally, I always wanted to go into the military. I didn't want to be a civilian because I felt there was nothing out here for me. I said, damn, if I can get in, guess what? I'm going to stay there at least 20 years. At least 20 years. It never happened because they do mental health screening sometime, or they get information from wherever you're from or wherever you did, because they wanted my school records. The school records they got. So then they wanted anything that Job Corps had. And in the Job Corps report, it was noted that I was suffering from a psychiatric medical condition, to have a mental illness. I was denied. So what did I do after that? I went on with my life and I went into the penitentiary. I went there for a couple of years. I was there for 6 years, 7 months. My name wasn't Arabia. My name was 221644. That was my name for almost 7 fucking years. Any type of work I did in there, trust me, I didn't get paid like the way I'm getting paid now. I don't care if it's $15 an hour. I don't care if it's $13 an hour. A couple of years ago, I was only making $9 an hour. You don't make that in prison. Shout out to the chat. And I'm talking about being here in South Carolina. In New York, the pay rate is higher. It's higher. Shout out to the chat. So while we was on the job yesterday, you guys, I met this young man, young little baby. I would say he had to been like 20, maybe 21. Beautiful, tall, brown skin. Ooh, nice eyes. Beautiful young man, handsome. I was like, what you doing here? Because, I become suspicious when I see those young dudes out there. The ones that's 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I get suspicious when I see them trying to work a temp job on a construction site. I said, what you doing? He said, well, I can't get a regular job because I'm a convicted felon. I said, convicted felon? And I said, well, what you be doing? He said he applied for certain jobs and he didn't tell the people he's a convicted felon. And when they found out that he had a criminal background, they fired him from the jobs, good paying jobs. I told him, this is what you do. The next time you apply, the next time you get an application of any sort, do not, if they ask on the application, have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been incarcerated? Anything dealing with any kind of criminal? Put the word yes. But when you put the word yes, put down, this is what you write down. Open for discussion during a face-to-face interview. The next time they ask you if you have any kind of convictions, anything, dealing with prison, anything, and if you've been there, put yes and put open for discussion during a face-to-face interview. And now stop all the bullshit. I told him, I said, you'll be able to get the job you want. You don't have to be out here with us. That's how I said it. With us. In other words, I'm acknowledging that it's a dead end road. Certain jobs are dead ends. And these young people need to be told that. Even if you have a criminal history, certain jobs are dead end jobs. And you will never advance. You will never go nowhere. You will never have nothing. You'll be just like me. I said, I'm 52 years old. I said, you want to be me in the next 40, 30 years? No, ma'am. I don't want to be you. I said, get it together now. Before it's too late. That's what I tell the young people. Get it together now before it's fucking too late. Don't be me. Don't be another me. When I come on this YouTube streets and I see these other people out here, these young people and women, first thing I said, I am the only original BT1000 because I know ain't no other woman on this app like me. They better not try to be me neither. I can only be me. There can only be one BT 1000. There's only one me. I tell them all the time, don't be me. Don't try to be me. Don't try to take on my persona or nothing of mine. Be you. I come across a few of the women in the sector. they're not widely known like that, but I was like, damn, I hope she doesn't think she's the next BT 1000. There might be only one beside myself, and that's the newer version of the BT 1000. I'm the old version. She's the newer one. She's newer. All right? Shout. Even when they get those titles and those labels, they don't even fucking want them. They be trying to shake that shit off. Oh no, I can't become the next BT 1000. Well, stop trying. Don't do it. Yeah, but a lot of these young people need to be encouraged, because just because we've been working on a job on and off for a certain amount of time, and maybe we were all right with that, but I don't see these young people doing what we did. It doesn't make any sense to me. Me personally, I don't want to see the next generation working dead-end jobs. Get something better. Be better than what we were. Because I'm 52 years old. My time of living is over. I am no longer the sunrise. I am the sunset. I'm no longer morning and afternoon. I am good night. My time to move up to a different level in life is over. My ball bounced, but it's not bouncing as high as it did when I was in my 20s or in my 30s. It's too late now. Only thing I can hope for is to get me a decent job and keep it until I fucking retire. Or until I fucking drop dead. Until I kufa too. Now let me read this chat. What's up, Lovely? That's Lovely Star in the building. Who else? Highly favored, that's you in the building. Who else? Old school, that's you in the building. So we got Lovely Star. I hope I'm reading the names right. Who else we got in the building? Y'all snuck in the building. Well, shout out to y'all. Good morning to y'all. We got 2 in the building and 7 likes. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Sometimes when I get into a vibe, you guys, I be vibing. I don't even look at the chat. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I was just talking about, for those that did, well, I was talking about what happened yesterday. And I was talking about this young man I met on the job yesterday, and how the generation behind me need to do better. You know, all the generations behind me need to do better than what I did. Then I discussed Mama Fletcher, Mother Fletcher, one of the survivors of the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. She lived in a place called Greenwood. She was a resident of Black Wall Street. She lived there as a child. She was born in 1914, died this year. They had her listed as being over 100 years old, 111 years old. And this woman went to Congress and couldn't even get reparations. She tried to tell them that someone needed to be held accountable for what happened. And the United States refuses to take accountability. Matter of fact, they are waiting for everyone that lived during the civil rights movement, during the Jim Crow years. They're waiting for all of those people to pass away so they can say, it never happened. That's what they're planning on doing. See, I didn't live through Jim Crow, but my parents did. My grandparents did. Their parents did. Their parents did. Shout out to the chat. A lot of those people that lived through the Jim Crow era, they're fading away quick. And the government couldn't be more happier. Shout out to the chat. So we got 5 in the building. We got 7 likes. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Shout out to you. Hey, keep the change. Good morning. So we got Lovely in the building. We got Keep the Change. We got Highly Favored. We got Old School. And there was someone else that was in this chat, but I couldn't really read the name clearly because my eyes are blurry. I don't have all my glasses this morning. Me and my coworkers, and I still don't understand, but I have to call this morning. I have to call around 7 o'clock and be like, hey, we didn't finish the job, because they could have had us until 5:30 because we had our own driver working with us. The driver was on the building with us. We was installing the installation. You know, the stuff that goes into the walls. When they're doing the framing work, you'll mostly find it like the installation. Like if you was to break open your wall, you would find that installation over there in the window areas of your apartment or your home. And in certain other places it would be. And that's what we were doing yesterday. We was installing it. And we was there from 9:30 until almost 2 something. They signed the ticket. They asked us to leave. We was told we was doing a good job. Then all of a sudden, you guys can leave. They signed the ticket. You guys can leave now. I'm like, what? What happened? We got sideswiped. That's when I told that young man, I said, this is what you're going to be going through if you depend on this. Don't depend on this shit. Get you a regular job. You young. Don't be like me. I fucked up my life. You don't need to fuck up yours. And that's what a lot of these young people do. They fuck up. They get locked the fuck up. When they get out of this circumstance of being in prison, they feel like they can't get a job. So what do? They go to these dead-end jobs. They don't think about going to school. They don't think about nothing no more. Because the whole world is telling them, fuck you, fucked up. You do if you do. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. But I told him, because the reason why you got fired from those jobs is because you didn't report when they asked you if you had a convicted felon on your record. You got an arrest record. You did time in prison. You are what they consider an ex-con now, a criminal. So if they ask you these things, you don't have to. Some people make the mistake of writing out their whole charge. I had to tell those young men a few months ago, don't write that shit. Just put yes, open for discussion during a face-to-face interview. Even though my crime happened 30 years ago, when I applied for a new job and they asked me some bullshit like that, I put yes and I put open for discussion during face-to-face interview. That's it. Either you're gonna call me in for the interview, and when I'm doing the interview, either you're gonna hire me or you're not. Cause they'd be like, okay, when they sit down, they talking to you about the company, what kind of benefits you're gonna get, X, Y, and Z. Be like, and they'd be like, oh, do you have any questions? It used to be, I used to ask questions about the company. Now, when they ask me, if they ask me, I haven't had an interview in a long time. But the last time I was on an interview, and they said, do you have any questions? I say, yeah. Are you gonna hire me or not? That's what I said. I ain't got time to be playing with people. I ain't got time. My time is running out. I'm 52 years old. I don't know. My heart can stop beating. I could be crossing the street, a car hit me. Then what? I'm serious. My life is over. I'm not breakfast. I'm not lunch. I'm not even brunch. I'm dinner. I'm a midnight snack now. I'm old. I'm old. I'm old. Some of you probably older than me, like, maybe I'm older than you. So, you probably got kids, grandkids, X, Y, Z. You got things I don't have. So, of course, you're going to live longer than me. You probably outlive me. I probably don't have another 5 years. I ain't got nothing holding me to this earth. Nothing. What's holding me here? Nothing. Everyone I loved is dead. So what's holding me? And that's real. That's life. Life keeps life and you move on. All right, so we see everyone that's in the building. Keep the change, lovely star. Who else? Highly favored. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. Highly favored. And old school. Old school. I never see old school in my chat before. Shout out to you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I'm gonna close out this video, you guys. Thank everyone for coming in. We're not on the walking path this morning. We didn't walk to work this morning. We was told to come back Monday. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Yesterday we went to the job after 9:30 in the morning. We still got put off. To me, I still don't understand how that happened. But in the meantime, I know what we were doing was a skill. So I want us still to get, even though we got dismissed early, I still want the money that they owe me. So I'm going to call up there this morning and see why that's not a skill ticket. Because anytime we're installing anything, it's skilled. Sorry, you can't jip me. They might get mad at me for asking for the money, but if I don't ask for it, how the fuck am I going to get it? I can't go in there with a fucking gun. Robbing a convenience store is not an option. Now when you go in there, the motherfuckers got guns right on their fucking hip. Shoot to kill. Send a mass. It ain't worth it. Because they don't have enough money in their fucking cash register for me to take anyway. Half of them motherfuckers, when they get a certain amount of money in them cash registers, they take some of their money out and deposit it in something. And you might be left with maybe over $50 in the cash register. Shout out to the chat. It's something that they do. That they're when I was working for Dollar Tree a couple of years ago, and I was surprised that they gave me a cashier job. Keep the change. I was so surprised they gave me a. They wasn't scared I was going to steal from. But anyway, to make a long story short, if you collected enough, like let's say you had a certain amount of money in your drawer, right? Now you had to keep up with what was in that drawer. That meant that if I'm on the register, I'm not leaving off that register. If I do leave off the register, and let's say I go to doing some stalking or anything, I'm closing out my register, and it better read a certain amount of money when I close it out. Shout out to the chat. You got to have a certain amount of money in that in the register. I don't know what they do for the convenience stores or the bodegas and anything, but I would assume that they don't keep a register full of money. So let me stop talking about this criminal shit. Let's talk about something more happy. Anyway, we're getting ready to close out this video. Thank everyone for coming over. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Those of you that if you can you catch the replay? Thank you for everyone that's here right now. For those that are not here, I hope you catch the replay, like and share. Shout out to y'all. Hope y'all have an awesome day. I might not go live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I don't need to be talking tomorrow. I need to get my rest tomorrow. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate your view. Like and share the video. Peace, you guys. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I know it's early. Y'all get your day started. I know y'all got families. Y'all got to tend to. I don't have a family, so it's no holds barred for me today. There's no holds barred for me today. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks, you guys. Peace.